Well, hello, this is Jim Pence with See the Light, and we're back for more rock tumbling for beginners. Now, last week we talked about tumblers and just the different kinds of tumblers that are possibly out there and the ones that I would recommend. Today we're going to talk a little bit about rocks, not just a lot, just a couple of minutes, but again, the goal of this series is to help you get started in rock tumbling with as little or few mistakes as possible, because mistakes can really be frustrating in this particular hobby. So I want to try to smooth the path out for you a little bit. One of the biggest mistakes that is usually made by beginning tumblers is there are all of these rocks. I have this huge pile of rocks over here you can't see right now because they're off camera, but there are all these beautiful rocks that you can get and you can buy to polish, or you can go out and find your own. And then they start to polish them, and things just don't go right. And that's because all rocks are not created equal, at least when it comes to tumbling. So I want to cover just real quickly some of the things that you don't want to do, and some of the things you want to avoid in terms of choosing rocks to tumble, especially as a beginner. So I'm starting over here on my left. I'm left-handed, so this is a good place. These are some beautiful stones that I started with way back when I first started tumbling. And if you, whoa, I'm dropping them all over the place too. If you look at these, they're very intricate, cool looking patterns, and boy, they would be beautiful. Well, these ones spent 4 weeks in the tumbling process, and they are about as dull as they can possibly be. This is it's sometimes called script stone. I've heard it called a sea fossil jasper. It has a lot of different names, but this particular kind of stone does not take a tumble. Plus, it's extremely soft, and these were fairly large when I started out, and I actually processed these a little differently because I've learned something over the years. But when the first time I ever tumbled this kind of stone, I started with a great big rock, and by the time it was done, it was a little tiny pebble. These are soft rocks, and the makeup does not allow them to take a shine. So at least in a tumbler. There are other ways to tumble difficult stones, but these ones are ones to avoid. So you want to make sure that your rock is not too soft. You can tumble some soft rocks, but these ones are not ones that you're going to have a lot of luck with, at least as a beginner. Here's another one. This is really pretty. I love the patterns in this one. But this is sandstone. And sandstone, beautiful as it is, will not polish. So you put that in your tumbler, it's going to wear away to nothing, and you're going to wonder, where did it go? Well, it's there, but it was all poured out in the grit and the stuff that you dump out of the tumbler. So you don't want to go with sandstone. Another one that a lot of beginners choose because it's just so pretty and there are all sorts of different colors is calcite. Now, if you pick this stone up, it has a waxy feel. Love the colors. It comes in all sorts of different colors. Here's this is a watermelon color. I think this one is called honey. I've got some orange calcite here, and there's blue, and there's just all sorts of beautiful colors. And again, beginning tumblers love to pick these up and say, oh, that will be so pretty tumbled. And then they put them in, and the stone just wears away to nothing. Okay, these can be shined, but a tumbler isn't the best way to do it, or at least a rotary tumbler isn't the best way to do it. So this is not a good beginner stone. So if you see calcite, if you're buying stones online and you see calcite, don't buy it. It's really pretty, but it's not for beginners. Here's another one. This is called septarian. It's a very interesting kind of a pattern. It's comes out of volcanic reactions, but this is also a soft stone. Doesn't tumble well. I managed to just tumble a piece of septarian about a month ago, and it actually came out. It survived the tumble. It didn't wear away to nothing, but it didn't take a shine either. So again, now septarian can be, but again, a lot of times you need grinders and lapidary machines to tumble some of this, or to polish some of this softer stuff. So Septarian is not a good one. Here's one called Green Dragon Serpentine. Now this one's kind of interesting because it is a softer stone, kind of like the script stone, and it's also one that will wear away to nothing if you're not careful. But I managed to get kind of what I would call a semi-shine. It's not really super shiny. I don't know how well the shine is showing up on the video here, but it's got a bit of a shine to it. But this was tricky to do, and it took me a while to figure out how to pull it off. So as pretty as this one is, it's not a stone for beginners. Here's another one, rhodonite, beautiful color, but will also wear away to nothing if you're not careful. So there's all sorts of pretty stones out there that are just not good for tumbling. There are other ones. This is amethyst. And amethyst is actually a harder stone, and as you can see, it takes a polish. But the problem with amethyst and most kinds of quartz is, although they're hard, they are also kind of fragile. And as you can see on this, there are marks and dings all over it, and that makes it, again, a trickier stone to polish. You can get some good shine out of it, but you're not going to have as well. You're going to have a bit more of a challenge to polish it without dings. And again, this is where a lot of times lapidary equipment or more advanced tumbling. I mentioned in last week's post vibratory tumblers. And vibratory tumblers are really what you need when you want to tumble something that is fragile like this, because the stones are not going to bang against each other as much. But vibratory tumblers are more advanced, and they're a lot more expensive. So you really don't want to go this route just yet. Hi, is your... Little pause there. My granddaughter came in for a visit, so I'm back to recording. We had to stop there for a second. There are other kinds. Here's one that this is called Amazonite, and it's a softer stone. It can take a really nice polish, but again, it's a bit more challenging. Now, not only are there stones that won't take a polish, but there are stones that you really just don't want to polish. Somebody on a rock tumbling site that I frequent asked, well, can you, this is, incidentally, this is iron pyrite, fool's gold. Somebody asked, well, can you tumble pyrite? And the answer is yes, you can, but why would you want to? It's beautiful. In fact, I've seen tumbled pyrite, and it really doesn't look as nice. It does shine, but this is already shiny, and the patterns are beautiful. So why, when you have a piece, here's another piece of pyrite. When you have a piece of stone that is already pretty stunning, there's really no need to polish it. One more piece. I like pyrite. This is actually a combination of pyrite and actually some chalcopyrite, which I'll talk about in a minute, in matrix. In other words, that's all the other stuff around here. So again, these yeah, in theory can be polished, but why would you want to? Here's chalcopyrite, which is kind of a copper pyrite, and again, pretty colors. These colors are not natural. This has been treated with acid to bring the color out. You'll sometimes hear this referred to as peacock ore or bornite. This is actually not bornite. That's a different mineral, but peacock ore is sometimes the name given to this simply because it kind of reminds you of a peacock in its color and iridescence. And so those are pretty. Why polish them? In fact, polishing would not really improve this. It might make it worse. And then you have, this is celestite. Beautiful crystals here. There's no need to polish this. It's beautiful. It would not improve it. And that's really what it comes down to. I'm going to bring in a couple of pieces here. This is a piece of agate, and this is a piece of jasper. And there are all sorts of varieties of agate and jasper. I'm just using general terms here. But these are really where I would suggest you start with tumbling, because they're very hard. They don't fracture and damage easily, and so they're going to give you good results right from the beginning. Now, the goal of tumbling is to bring out the beauty of a rock. And as pretty as these ones are in their natural state, when you polish them, they're going to bring the colors out and make those colors much, much more intense, much prettier. And I only have a couple here in front of you, but those are where I would suggest you start. One other area that you could tumble fairly successfully from a beginner standpoint is petrified wood. Petrified wood tumbles beautifully. It's very hard, very difficult to damage. So that's where I would suggest you start. If you're just getting started in tumbling, start with jasper, agate, or petrified wood. And I didn't get any petrified wood out to show you, but maybe in a future post I will. I hope you enjoyed this, hope it's helpful, and most of all, I hope you will get started in rock tumbling. It's a great way to learn about God's creation, and you will be amazed at how much you learn about rocks and geology when you begin to do some tumbling. That's all for today. I'm Jim Pence with See the Light. Thanks for watching.